Hello everyone, and welcome back to the fourth episode of Snoopy and Peanuts. If you're here, it means that, like us, you feel that Peanuts isn't just a comic strip, but a companion on the journey of life, speaking to us with honesty, offering reflections that stay in our hearts, keeping us company through our days and making us feel less alone, even in the hardest moments. In our last episode, we explored Snoopy, discovering how he became a symbol of freedom and dreams, reflecting the desires and fears of Charles Schulz. We saw how, behind the adventures of the Beagle, there is the longing to escape reality, to find a safe place to retreat when life's difficulties become too heavy to bear. Today, as promised, we will continue discovering how the characters of Peanuts changed the world of comics, talking about one of the most beloved and profound characters, Linus and his blanket, a symbol of security, protection, and that human fragility that each of us carries within, even when we try to appear strong in the eyes of others. Linus first appeared in 1952, just a few years after Peanuts began, bringing with him from the start a sense of sweetness and vulnerability that stands out within the group of characters. But behind that child who always clutches his blanket, there is much more. Linus is a symbol of our fragility, of the need to have a refuge when the world feels too big or when our fears seem too difficult to face. He is the symbol of our humanity, of that tender part we often try to hide because we fear looking weak. Throughout his life, Charles Schulz struggled with insecurities, anxiety, and moments of loneliness. That blanket Linus clutches so tightly is a mirror of Schulz's own need to find security in a world he often felt was hostile or difficult to understand. But Linus isn't just a child seeking comfort, he is also one of the most profound and thoughtful characters in Peanuts, capable of surprising us with his wisdom and sensitivity while maintaining his sweetness. Linus speaks to us with his calmness, with his silences, and with his carefully chosen words, becoming the voice of awareness that each of us, deep down, is still searching for a safe place. It is interesting to see how Linus, even when he is teased by Lucy or the other children, never completely loses his dignity. Even when he is criticized for his blanket, Linus remains true to himself, showing us that we should not be ashamed of our fragilities. On the contrary, accepting what makes us vulnerable can become an act of strength and honesty toward ourselves. Linus teaches us that we don't need to be afraid to show our fears, because it is precisely through awareness of our fragility that we can grow and face the world with a more authentic heart. Linus's blanket has become a cultural symbol, so much so that today the expression Linus's blanket is used to describe anything that gives us comfort in difficult times, whether it's a song we listen to when we are sad, a cup of tea sipped in silence, or even a small object that reminds us of a happy moment. This idea was born from Schulz himself, who, through Linus, taught us that growing up does not mean we have to give up what makes us feel protected, but that we must learn to live with our fears without letting them overwhelm us, continuing to move forward even when we are afraid. Linus shows us that we can be fragile and at the same time, profoundly wise. That we can feel lost, yet continue to search for answers, even if those answers don't come right away. That even if we seek comfort in small things, we can face the world with a sincere and open heart, welcoming life with all its difficulties. And he teaches us that our strength is not measured by how invincible we appear, but by our ability to accept ourselves as we are, with our fears and our hopes. This is why Linus continues to be such a beloved character, even after so many years. Because he reminds us that, even as adults, that fragile part within us is precious, and we can welcome it with kindness. Linus is a reminder that we should not be ashamed of what makes us feel safe, and that we can continue to grow without completely abandoning what comforts us. If you enjoyed this episode, share with us what your Linus's blanket is, that small object or gesture that gives you comfort when you need it most. It could be a book you reread, a walk in a familiar place, a calming evening ritual, or a happy memory you keep in your heart. Each of your comments makes this journey together even more special, transforming this community into a space for sharing and understanding, just as the vignettes of Peanuts have taught us. In our next episode, we will continue exploring how the characters of Peanuts changed comics, and we will talk about Lucy, Linus's sister, a character who, behind her toughness, hides a world of complexity and fragility. Together we will discover what makes her special too, thanks to the personal experience and genius of Charles Schulz, analyzing her sharp lines, her hidden fears, and her desire for control, which, deep down, is a form of seeking love. Thank you for being with us again today. And remember, embracing our fragility is an act of courage, just as Linus teaches us every day. Stay tuned for the next episode of Snoopy and Peanuts, and continue to carry with you, each day, that tender part that makes us human. See you soon.